What's up, guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Jen Zollers, aka Jenny Snacks, as some of you know me in the bodybuilding circuit, and this is my YouTube channel, Snacks in the Wild. I know last year I kind of went dark a little bit on YouTube with updating a lot of these episodes, but when I am locked in for a show, social media kind of takes a back burner to the real focus, and I think that a lot of people spend too much time on social media when the real work is trying to win a show, trying to qualify for the Olympia, or presenting my best package for the Olympia. So I will do my best this season for 2025 to update you guys as much as possible. So let this first episode of 2025 be my kickoff for this new season. I'm ending my bulking season today. Today is like the last day for eating in a surplus, but I am 5'5", and my ending weight for this bulk period was 172 to 174. I kept bouncing between in the last 2 weeks, so I'm happy with that, but I'm ready to start shredding down a little bit. I'm a competitor at heart, so the itch to compete is always in the back of my mind. For me, I actually thrive in prep. The harder it is, the more I love it. And I know that's really crazy. It's like the opposite of what some people like to do. Some people love the bulking phase. They love to eat in a surplus. They love to crush the weights. But for me, I live for competition. And each week that goes by and I'm checking off all the boxes, that's a win for me. And to go back to social media, that's not something that's part of checking the boxes. So occasionally I'll update things on Instagram so you guys get a little glimpse of what's going on, and with my coaching business too. So that's where the real work is with my clients and my prep itself. So that's something I wanted to discuss later in my YouTube channel. But today I just wanted to let you guys know how I'm doing at the end of this bulk and how excited I am to start this season. I have a couple shows in mind that are lined up around May, June, July. We'll see. My body responds really fast, so we'll see what the best option is to start out with. Originally, I had the plan of doing Chicago in July because I thought I needed to grow a significant amount after the Olympia, but turns out I grew a lot in this off season, so I bumped it up to Toronto, and if there's something that comes up before then, I might do that as well. So we'll just see how my body responds. I've been very lucky that my body responds very fast. And for those that are close to me, they know that my weight loss is like a runaway train. And during a peak week, I'm one of those athletes where you could feed me like a guy competing and I'll literally burn all the way through it. So I'm not the average bear as far as a competitor. And when it comes down to the wire during peak week, you have to load me up with a lot of food to get me to fill up properly. So it actually blows a lot of people's minds with how much I actually eat during a peak week when I start to fill up. So yeah, I know a lot of coaches like to play it safe, and a couple of the coaches I've had did have to play it safe because a typical athlete does not eat as much as I do. So that's a blessing and a curse, because once my weight loss goes away, actually takes off, it's hard to catch it. So I think we ran into that issue with the Olympia. I know some of you guys wanted to know also my thoughts on what I presented at the Olympia. 2 weeks prior in Reno, that was my best package ever, and I was really happy about that. Myself and my friend Carlos helped nail that peak for that week. But going into the Olympia, yeah, that wasn't my favorite look. For my first Olympia, I entrusted a new coach, and he didn't know my body. That's totally fine. He has to learn my body. I'm completely different than other athletes. So it's really tricky to nail my peak because my body is so finicky. But I didn't realize how bad my weight loss was until I stepped on stage and I saw the entire judging panel's faces when they looked at me. It was kind of like the Jen, what happened? And oh, so those are my dogs. But that's Bonnie and Clyde. Those are my two puppies, and I love them so much. I apologize for the minor interruption with my dogs. You'll get to see them a lot more throughout this YouTube channel. It seems like everybody on Instagram loves my dogs, so we'll go ahead and put them in this channel too, so you guys get to see more of them as well. But going back to the Olympia, discussing what my body was like on stage. I didn't realize how much a weight I actually lost until I stepped on stage and I saw the judges' faces and looked back at the pictures and went, ooh, that was a little too lean. That was like a lot too lean. So going forward, I need to come in fuller. That would have made a huge difference. In 2 weeks, I went from 137 in Reno to 129 in at the Olympia. So that was a little bit too much. But luckily, I put that weight back on. So that was the goal this building season, was to gain back the muscle that I lost and then some, because I still had to gain a lot of muscle after that. So I worked really hard this off season. And so again, my body responds very fast in prep and in the off season. So it kind of like blows everyone's minds. I don't have to take like an entire year off to build. Would that have allowed me to build a lot more muscle? Sure. But I'm getting older. I'm 37. So I know time is of the essence. So I try to build as much as I can in little chunks. I try not to look too far ahead to say, I need a year, that's all I need. Or I just need 4 weeks. No. I literally take it like 8 weeks at a time just to see where my body's at. And at the end of this phase, yeah, I had the itch to do the Houston show, but I knew at the beginning of January I needed a couple more weeks. So by today, I'm pretty happy with where this is and I'm ready to go. I've done very short preps. I've done 10-week preps before and my body can handle it, but it does add more stress onto your body. Could I do the Houston show in 10 weeks? I think it's 10 weeks, probably, but would that be the best option for my body? Maybe not. Maybe it will be. We'll see. Depends on how fast my body loses weight. But even the last 2 weeks, I noticed I've never been the type in an off season to not have to do cardio. I've always had to do some kind of cardio to keep the fat gain in check. So the last 2 weeks, my body has literally been going up and down with my weight with the littlest bit of cardio that I've added, just extra steps and just a little bit of extra walking did a number on affecting me gaining weight. So by Tuesday this week, I really cut back on the cardio I was doing just to keep my weight up, to see how much more muscle we could gain in just the last couple days. So I am gonna have one last awesome meal this weekend before prep really kicks into gear. I don't know what that meal is gonna be yet, but I call it Jesus's Last Supper before the crucifixion. Not to make a joke about it, but there is a lot of suffering in prep that a lot of people don't understand. If you have an easy prep, then you probably didn't work hard enough, or you probably didn't do it right. So that's why I say there's a lot of suffering, and that's like the cross that I bear and my crucifixion. And when I step on stage, that's my rebirth and that's my redemption, coming back from the depths of hell, pretty much. So a little dark humor, but I do enjoy the rebirth at the end of this and presenting on stage. Like, I went through this, I celebrate today. Regardless of whatever the outcome is, I celebrate that day as I made it. I did it. And I came across an interview that Chris Bumstead did 3 weeks before the Olympia, and I actually just came across it the other day and watched it. And he made a comment that it's not just the trophies and the winning that's the biggest goal. It's kind of the little goals you have each day. Like, I had an injury. Did I get through that? I had 2 injuries in a prep. I literally couldn't get through this entire week, but I did it. I accomplished that. I got through it. That is the real win. And my prep leading up to Reno and the Olympia was probably the hardest prep I've ever done, because I had a lot of outside factors affecting my prep. I was sick very frequently. I had COVID and a family member passed away. So it was a very difficult prep to get through. So by the end of prep, I was just happy just to make it to the stage. And when I made it to Reno, I was like, man, I did that. That was the hardest prep I've ever done. And I did it. I didn't quit. I made it, and I still presented my best package. So, and like Chris Bumstead said in that interview, it's not the end goal that's the most important. It's you got through it. You accomplished that, and your mind is more powerful than your body actually is. And I think a lot of people don't want to be comfortable or don't want to be uncomfortable. They want everything to be comfortable, but Another quote I came across is, nothing changes if nothing changes. If you're constantly in that comfort zone, then nothing's going to change. You have to be willing to change yourself in order to change. So keep that in mind for yourself. Hopefully it motivates you. But I'll try to be honest with the struggles that I might face in this prep, just to help you guys along if you start your prep yourself. I'm a pro and I've been doing this for a couple years now. And I'd be lying if I said that preps were super easy, like they were a breeze. No. There's outside factors that affect it. I'm a mom too, so I have to take care of my daughter. I know in the last prep I had when I started prep, the late night basketball practices when I was coaching, like I was exhausted. Usually by 3 p.m. or 5 p.m., I'm toast by the end of the day. So that's when my husband and my dad, my daughter's grandfather, really stepped up to help me coach basketball and to help coach the little kids. So I do love basketball and actually miss it a lot. But there is an adult league that my husband plays in occasionally, and I want to play so bad. But as a pro, you can't risk any opportunity to be injured. So that's something that I can't do. Even scrimmaging with my little 5th grade kids when I'm coaching, my husband's like, you gotta chill. You can't afford to get hurt. I'm like, I know. But I do love basketball at heart, and you guys might see a couple of those posts on my stories on Instagram. I use a lot of like comparisons to basketball, Michael Jordan, Kobe, and everything. They had the mentality of being hungry for being on top and hungry for that win and doing whatever it takes, all the sacrifices and running into the storm in order to achieve that. And that's something that I hold close to my heart with getting through these preps, is I run straight through the fire. I run straight through the storm. And because I know the harder it is that I'm willing to accept, others are not. So the harder it is, the more I enjoy it, as weird as that sounds. But yeah, those are my thoughts on how the Olympia kind of went, how last year went, and how my bulking season went, and the kickoff for this new season. I will keep you guys updated as much as possible and let you know how things are going. But let this be the first episode into my 2025 journey to try to qualify for this year's Olympia. So stay tuned for more episodes. Thanks, guys.